Hello everyone. In this session, let's try to understand what LangChain is and how you can leverage LangChain to build LLM-powered applications. So when I say building LLM-powered applications, it could be a simple RAG that you might create by considering all of your custom datasets, or it could also be agentic workflow that you are going to implement, which autonomously performs specific set of tasks in order to eventually solve a problem. We'll try to tackle each one of these in our upcoming session. I have listed down set of reasons on why to use LangChain over other frameworks. I also have provided links to documentation on the GitHub page. If you go to this documentation page, you basically have a lot of details here. If I click on API reference, here we have the different base packages. When I click on LangChain, you have different modules associated with this. So we are going to cover about different components associated with LangChain. So first, let's try to understand what this term is all about. So Lang within LangChain stands for language models. Language models could be any of these large language models like Anthropic's Claude, Mistral, or even GPT models and so on. Could be any of them. Chain here stands for the sequential set of functions that we chain together. So it's a component. As you can observe here, chain is a component here. It combines LLMs with other components and create these apps by executing a sequence of functions, right? Let's say that as part of a chain that you are creating, there are different functions like F1, F2, and F3. So this is like some abstract naming convention that I'm providing now. F1 basically would leverage an LLM to try to understand the intent of user query. And probably once it understands the intent, whatever response that it has, it's going to send out to the next component within your chain. So this probably could be associated with a different tool altogether, like probably Google search. So based upon the response, it goes and tries to invoke the Google search and gets some summarized data and then forwards it back to the next component. So this is a chain of sequential events or chain of sequential functions that occur together. So this again is one of the key concepts that we need to understand properly. So apart from chains, we also have prompts. So when we say prompts, we can leverage this prompt templates. So prompt template can basically add additional instructions than the user query. So let's say you have a user query. So in addition to the user query, you are going to add certain instructions. You can also provide certain examples to guide its responses, like few shot prompting. We can also specify an example output response as part of the prompt template. So you are simply injecting your user query to a particular template so as to carve out your prompt to your LLM. So that's the purpose of prompt template here. So we also have LLMs as one of the major components. So you can use multiple LLMs within a single chain. It's not necessary that you always need to use the same LLM throughout your chain. It's not the case here. So we also have indexers and retrievers, like we have document loader, especially when you want to read all of your PDFs, your custom data sets, right? So you might have your documentation specific to your organization stored in the form of PDFs. So doc loader is one of the utilities that's going to help you read all of these unstructured data into a proper format. We also have VectorDB, where you basically store the data in the form of embeddings. Storing the data in the form of vector embeddings is a really good way to actually store, because you are numerically representing all of it. All the semantic information is being stored. In such way, you'll be able to store more and more number of documents in a more concise and effective way. We also have text splitters, where you split the text into chunks and store them in a semantically meaningful way, and you can recombine them back by using your own methods. So these are the three main components or sub-components, as you can see, when it comes to indexers and retrievers. So memory is one of the primary challenges when you invoke your LLM, right? Only when you pass all of your conversation history as a context while you invoke your LLM, then only it can consider all the memory, all the history into account while generating a response. That's one of the biggest challenges with your regular LLM invocation. However, LangChain provides us an utility to maintain the memory, to maintain that state throughout the conversation. You can simply maintain the complete conversation history, or you can maintain a summary of it. We'll deal with it in one of our upcoming sessions again. We also can create agentic workflows using LangChain. It's not that we can create a multi-agent workflow, a more robust multi-agent workflow using LangChain. So we have a separate component called LangGraph for that. So LangGraph, so building multi-agent systems with LangGraph is more effective than building multi-agent systems using LangChain for various reasons. The agentic workflow is pretty much linear when it comes to LangChain implementation for agentic workflows. In case of LangGraph implementations, we basically have these non-linear implementations. Let's talk more about it when we deal with LangGraph separately, okay? But we still can create or implement agentic workflows using LangChain, which autonomously performs specific set of tasks while solving a problem. You are going to make use of a specific LLM to have that reasoning capability. So as to understand which tool to invoke, there might be a set of tools which are acting as agents, and LLM here acts as an orchestrator to provide that reasoning capability to understand which tool is the right tool that needs to be chosen next in the sequence. So that's how the multi-agent systems work on a very high level. Since you have pretty much understood the different components of LangChain, I would also want to present certain use cases that you can think about. So the first use case could be simple question answering bots specific to your organizational needs and necessities. Let's say that your customer experience team basically would want to collect survey feedback from different customers, and there could be a certain questionnaire that the customer experience team might post the different customers and ask for certain feedback. Or probably, than talking about customer experience, we can consider customer query support team, where you will have different questions from customers for which you need to provide answers, right? So this particular application that you must have created is purely accessing your own datasets. The application is accessing custom datasets, and then only it's going to generate the answers with respect to the questions that the customers are posting. We also can have use cases related to summarization, where you have large text data available and you do not want to go through all of that text data. You can simply generate some quick digests of some research papers that are existing and then present it back to the users so that we get a quick understanding on what exactly happened or what that research paper is all about, respectively. It can also be used for data augmentation, where in case of ML, so in case of machine learning, data augmentation is one of the critical steps for improving the number of samples that you're having within your train set. So by considering the existing training set samples, the LLM is going to generate similar samples to that of training set by data augmentation. As I've mentioned to you earlier, we can also implement agentic workflows using LangChain. An agentic workflow basically autonomously executes a specific set of tasks in order to solve a specific problem. I believe we have pretty much dealt with understanding on what LangChain is and the different components that are present as part of LangChain here. In the next session, we are going to set up an environment first, try to clone a GitHub repository, and then try to understand by building a simple application here. Okay, so that's all in this particular session. Thanks for watching.